Hello there, Steve here in Sydney of the layman's gnosis website truebluehealer.com. I will get straight to the point here. There's terrible riot things going on in America. They're spreading, apparently artificially as far as I can tell. But I just want to say something about, there's a problem here of organisations, a problem that's faced organisations forever since the dawn of man. That is, you can have the most altruistic organisation with a right sounding name, and it's very easily infiltrated by people claiming to be genuine members, but then doing things to discredit it. So you can have the most high and altruistic Catholic River Wideners Club marching down the street, and people from within the ranks start throwing petrol bombs, and suddenly the Catholic River Wideners are perceived as arsonists. So this can happen with big corporations. It can happen with coups inside. You can get factions inside the military, inside government. Political parties are infiltrated continuously. In fact, the walls between, the walls between factions in many human organisations are permeable. That's the problem. But it has occurred to me that a lot of people in America seem to want to do peaceful protests. I'm personally opposed to this, but there is a way to do it. If you want to have a peaceful protest where nothing's damaged, certainly you can stop fires in a very easy way. And also, you can signify the fact that you're a genuine protester. You can carry a small automotive extinguisher on a string around your neck so it's plainly visible. Anyone who starts a fire in a trash can, or so that they're on the same camera field as you, against the backdrop of your little marching group, there's a way to put the trash can out straight away. Similarly, if a shop's being burned, you can stop the fire getting very big at all if there's a dozen people carrying automotive fire extinguishers. Now, you can get these in automotive shops, you can get them in Walmarts and big hardware stores and that sort of thing, automotive shops. That's one solution if you want to stop people throwing bombs out of your peaceful march down the street somewhere. It is rumoured that people are putting petrol into PET water bottles and using that. You can carry it in your pocket literally and start a small fire somewhere and mingle in with a group of peaceful demonstrators and utterly discredit the group that's photographed behind you. So everyone carrying a fire extinguisher costing about $30 per person is something everyone can afford. And you can literally stop fires being burning down shops and whatever. So that's certainly one suggestion I've got. It's a very simple solution. Even if infiltrators themselves carried fire extinguishers, it wouldn't identify them, because if they're going to be seen, they're going to be photographed, starting fires in trash cans, etc. Just about everything gets videoed today. Isn't it tremendously useful? The phone camera catches so many people out doing naughty things. And it seems to me that millions and millions of phone cameras everywhere in everybody's pocket are slowly catching people. If you have lots of people doing similar acts and millions of people carrying phone cameras, you really can't do anything very secretly anymore. You're going to be photographed from a distance by someone curious. It's going to happen. Even accidentally you can be photographed when you think you're doing something private. And it's come to my attention very recently, today in fact, that police have been seen offloading bricks. Seemingly, the footage was very short and tantalising, but inconclusive, because it wasn't quite certain what they were doing, offloading a few bricks down a back alley, you see. We don't really know for certain. But I'm wondering why no shopkeepers have volunteered any surveillance cam footage of the delivery of these bricks, because they're being put in large quantities. in places where there's lots of glass to break, and they weigh 1,000 kilos, a ton basically. They're on a pallet, and there's only about 2 ways to move them. You can use a big truck full of bricks. You can offload them with a very loud, very noisy forklift, and it's literally goes on the back of the truck. Or you can get a smaller removal van with a 1-ton hoist on the back, and you can roll them off using a pallet jack. That would be a less obtrusive way to do it. But I'm still wondering why no shopkeeper has been asked near these piles of bricks, do you have any surveillance footage of who delivered that and when? We'd like to see the type of vehicle and the types of people involved, because somebody's doing it. Many of the pallets of bricks seem to have delivery labels on them and brand names. So I'm just wondering why no one's been asked, no shopkeeper has volunteered it. And of course the obvious question is, why can't city surveillance cameras be asked about it too with a Freedom of Information request or something like that? How come nobody can say, we found out who's delivering the bricks because we've got surveillance footage? It's such an obvious thing to ask for. I suppose city surveillance cameras will all have their tapes deleted, as is often the case when major events go down in European cities, when planes hit the Pentagon, that sort of thing, and the tape can't be found for 10 years, that kind of thing, and it turns out to be not a plane at all, that sort of thing. So I'm just wondering why all over the TV we're shown how they hunt down criminals. We watch a show called 48 Hours in Sydney, and they can follow people in car parks and doing all sorts of things all hours of the day using surveillance footage from commercial establishments. And they're all still there, but they're never used to find out who delivers these bricks. And that's a very, very valuable question that could be asked in state parliaments, could be asked in local councils, certainly on social media. And I think that question should be seriously put to local authorities in America. Who keeps delivering the bricks? That's a big question. Needs to be answered. So if you've got some ideas about how to do this, I thought about Project Veritas type people going after this, but the evidence is probably already on surveillance footage. Already there, seemingly no one's thought to look for it. So need your reply down below this video. Please like, share and subscribe, and leave a comment. Let's hear your angle on it, please. I'd love to hear from you. I would just like to say one more thing about George Floyd, the man who died beside the police car with 3 policemen kneeling on him. I don't know why they were doing that. It doesn't make sense to kneel on him for 9 minutes, because he seems to have been a dead man walking full of fentanyl, the same sort of medicine that Michael Jackson died by depressed breathing. His heartbeat slowed down, his lungs slowed down due to a oxycodone-like same sort of chemical as fentanyl. And so this man kept falling down. He was dying. He was a dead man walking. Why the police had to hold him down when he couldn't even get in a car, couldn't even control his bladder, I don't know why it took 3 men to hold him down. I know policemen are not hired for their high IQs, and they are trained a lot to do things in a certain way. But it just doesn't make much sense to hold someone down for 9 minutes that's been unable to stand up on his own 2 feet or even get in a car or control his bladder. It doesn't make sense to me at all. So we need to know more information. But he seems to have been a dead man walking. Steve here in Sydney, over and out.